What is up, guys? It's YaroWins and welcome back to another video. In this one today, I'm going to bring you a 4-5-1 second variation defensive tactic which you will primarily use to close out games. So when you have the lead or when you want to go sort of overly defensive and make sure of a victory, but yet you still want to have some sort of attacking threat on the counter attack. So I found the 4-5-1 second variation is actually a very good formation, and I prefer it to the standard 4-5-1 because you have sort of a flat central mid system, but your left and right mid are slightly ahead, so they can sort of track back and forth on that wing, but they also have the attacking threat. They're not too sort of isolated or too pushed back. So yeah, if this tactic does help you out, make sure to drop a like, comment and subscribe to the channel because we're getting close to 1,000. But as we get into it, in terms of the actual tactics themselves, so for the defensive side, you will want to put drop back because that is generally the safest and most defensive tactic that you can use, and you'll have that security in terms of your players, especially at the back, won't tend to sort of go forward too much, and you will sort of close down spaces more effectively by dropping back. And again, I'd like to just reiterate that this obviously isn't a tactic you're going to start a game with. So I mean, I personally don't like to play against drop back, but this is just specifically when you want to sort of close out a game in the last maybe 15 minutes or whatever. But yeah, drop back is the most effective for that. In terms of defensive width, you're going to want it to have maybe 3 or 4 bars, because the whole point to that is you don't want spaces in between your players. Because the 4-5-1 second variation, as it is a quite wide formation in terms of, obviously you have 5 midfielders across the pitch, and your left and right mid will be wide anyway, so you don't really need any width, and you have 3 central mids, so the 2 central ones and then another one behind them, so that's like a sweeping CDM. But regardless, you have enough space and enough support in the middle in that you don't need to spread them out too much. You want it quite compressed in the defensive side of things. So in terms of the depth, you probably will want it at around 3. Again, this is purely for defensive solidity. You don't want to go forward too much. You want to have that balance of not being right on your, basically your goal line or edge of the box, but you want to be quite deep because you're going to be playing a counter-attacking style. And leading on to that, obviously the offensive tactic. So with the offensive style, I've chosen long ball because of the players I have, and I mean, I'd say most of us have sort of high pace, fast players with good agility up front and maybe on the wings as well. So those are the kind of players that you want. For example, like Adama, I've got Nedved, but I put on Ryan Kent as a sub as well. And for the offensive width, in that case, you're going to up it from, obviously the defensive width, you want to be quite compressed when you're defending. But when you do have a counter-attacking opportunity, you want that width. You want your left and right mid to basically spread out, be further on the wings, and essentially that will spread out the opponent's defense as well. And then you can make further runs with your central striker. And yeah, just players in the box will be at 3 because all you want is your left mid, right mid, and striker. So going into the formation itself and how it looks in game. So as you can see, in my case, I have Lampard as my left centre mid, Kante as my right centre mid, Guardiola as the one slightly in behind that as like a pure CDM, and then obviously one striker and a left and right mid. So we're going to go into the instructions here. Starting off with the CDM, you want to stay back while attacking, stay on edge of the box with the cross, cover center. And I've personally changed between aggressive and balanced interceptions. It really depends on what player you have and what their stamina is, because aggressive interceptions really sort of eat stamina. Essentially, for my left centre mid, I'm keeping him stay back, but to get into the box and to cover centre. For Kante, he's a purely defensive player, so you want him to stay back, stay on edge of the box. You don't want him going forward at all, covering centre again. And for him personally, aggressive interceptions because he's got a very high stamina. So those are the central players. In terms of your right mid, you want to have him on basic defensive support, stay wide, get in behind because of the long ball tactic, and get into the box. So you're going to want that on both your left and right mid. The reasoning behind stay wide is because you want your opponent's fullbacks to be dragged wide, because that's going to give space for your central striker. Let's say I win the ball in defense, and for example from my fullbacks, which are staying back also. With that, I can win the ball with them, let's say, and then I know that I have support almost overlapping with my left and right mid, which I can play the ball forward then. That will in turn force the wing backs of the opponent to be dragged wide, and then I can make runs in behind. I can basically get more space for my striker. But yeah, those are the tactics, guys, and let's see in game with some clips how it actually works. So guys, as you can see here, I'm leading 2-1. It's the final sort of 15 minutes, and this is the kind of time where I'd make these kind of subs. So you can see the formation. Acuna is a guy that has great stamina, great defense, and he can play that CDM role. Then Aouar, the 87 one, he's sort of a box-to-box midfielder. He can do both the attacking and defensive side. So I replaced Lampard with him because it's a similar kind of player, and he's quite mobile. He's got good pace, so you can get up and down the pitch. And then replace Adama with Kent. So as we can see, we've essentially got 15 minutes to hold out. But in terms of the positioning, you can see how wide Nedved was there and how wide Kent was on the left side. So that quick switch of the play, that a few passes literally from Cancelo at left back across to Nedved on the right mid position, driven pass into Villa as a central striker, and then Kent coming in on the back post. Essentially a very easy, very quick goal, and then I'm even more in control. And you can see right now that I've got that sort of line of almost 6 players in defense. And what I meant with the width on the defense, you see it gets quite compressed, but when I win the ball, that's when I want the width to actually expand a little bit. So you can see Kent is quite wide on that left side. He's waiting for the counter-attack opportunity. See, he's not dragging it back. He's not dropping back at all. And you see even now, I have so much support. Kante almost becomes a centre-back. He can block, and then I can play basically a counter-attack. Again, goes to my left-back. When I have the ball, I can just drive through balls through. I get a bit lucky there, but Kent finishes it. And yeah, that's an easy win. And that's the thing. This tactic and this formation is not purely ultra defensive with no sort of idea to even go forward or attack. It is very good in terms of making your team dangerous on the counter attack. Like, I've literally scored 2 goals playing ultra defensive, and I had only scored 2 goals with my ultra attacking formation. And yeah, at this point this guy basically gives up. And yeah, what I found, it kind of sort of demoralizes opponents. So yeah guys, if this tactic and formation guide helps you out, let me know. Drop a comment down below, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more content, and let's get to that 1K mark, and I'll catch you soon guys. Peace.